Greetings and welcome, everyone. Today we are going to be discussing polynomials. This is the way I will be using this sign, breaking it up into 3 columns and groups. So that's what this sign means right here. Polynomial is a very broad term, but I'll be explaining that more later. First, we're going to use the term monomial, which is describing this first 6x right here. And then how many variables do you see right here? I've circled 2, and that would be referred to as a binomial. And finally, the last one has 3, which would be considered a trinomial. But all of these grouped together are called polynomials as the total equation. We'll go on to discuss the order in which that you would put these. The order in which you would put these and the degree referring to the exponent that is associated with these. And we'll talk about how to label them as well. So now we're going to talk about the degree of the polynomial. Specifically, what that means, the term, is the exponent. That exponent will determine the variable's degree. Such as this first example has a 2, so it's 4x to the second, which would mean it would be to the second degree. This next example would be to the first degree, as there is nothing written here, 2x. This third example, 3a to the third, b to the second, means you would add the variables together and take the sum of the 2, and that's what degree it would be. So 3 added to 2 would make it 5. So this polynomial would be to the 5th degree. And the reason why is you would just you would take the sum of the exponents, and that was what would make the degree. You can keep them separate in the polynomial, but for this practice we are going to take the addition. If it's just a regular number, it's to the 0 degree. And finally, with this one, you see that there is a to the second and b to the 4th, and then x to the 1st. And since they are 2 separate polynomials, you take the first one, which would be 2 added to 4, and make that the 6th degree. And since those are 2 separate variables, you take the highest degree, and that's what the whole equation would be called, so the 6th degree. It's important to look at the letters and the numbers and to figure out all together specifically what the highest degree is. I'm going to give you another example now. It's also important to set up the polynomials in the correct order, starting with the highest degree. So you need to be looking for the highest exponent and then writing the equation with a decreasing array of exponents. So we'll look at this equation right here and break this up into 3 separate variables. 3x to the second, negative 4x to the fifth, and negative 7x. We see here that there is a 5, a 2, and a 1 as exponents. And we will rearrange these in the correct order, starting with the highest, which would be negative 4x to the fifth. Next would be 3x to the second, and finally negative 7x. And that would be your final answer. For math purposes, it's easier to start with the highest exponent and then decrease in order. We have to remember that with polynomials, the degree is a very important factor of it. So when you take the exponents and order them, it makes solving the